head up, tits out, and watch for the book.
Welcome to Book of the Wrestling Podcast for the fans, by the fans, where we book, rebook, and revisit your favorite wrestling storylines. I'm your commissioner, Lil X Fudge, and today we're here with your GMs, Damone D Money,
Hello, Governor.
the bad guy, Kenny.
Oh yeah!
We got the sixth return of Hi-Fi Mike.
Party on, Garth.
We got about the fifth return of Primetime Travie T.
Yeehaw!
Yeah, that's the good shit. And then we got this motherfucker, M. Joe F. I guess he's here.
Oh yeah, sexy mama.
Ugh.
Johnny
Yeah.
Bravo.
Well,
I'm actually mad that cowboy shit isn't on this episode.
I bet you're wondering why we're wearing cowboy hats, or at least two of them were. There is no reason. We're just fucking around. It's not like we're fans of Damone's show.
I did too. That was funnier than English could have gave.
We're just fucking with us. Fucking with you. But tonight, you guessed it, we are bringing you more Book It Verse. So tonight, a little bit of surprise in the turn order, a little bit of shaking things up. We are going to have D Money present his show tonight. So, for longtime fans, I think we're getting some more TCW. So, if you've not watched a Book It Verse before ever, at least watch what's happened of this one thus far, but go back and watch some of the others. They're great. And if you are brand new, welcome. And I'm sorry that this is your first experience.
I don't like that part that you said, sorry, it's your first experience right before my show starts.
Damone, you know why we did this.
True.
Anyways,
I wasn't ready.
tell us about your show, Damone. Take us into the TCW verse.
Okay, so TCW is Toxic Championship Wrestling. So this is going to be season 3. So on Book It Verse, was it 4? No, 3. I did season 1 of TCW. You guys aren't going to see season 2, but we're in like a quarter of the way through season 3. So this is going to be TCW Death Sentence. So to start, we see a man walk into a dimly lit warehouse and sit down. There's a TV that turns on, and we start seeing flashbacks of TCW's first 2 seasons in the beginning of the third. Habitual decline by Like Mouse to Flames plays in the background and fades down as we hear a familiar voice, which the fans recognize to be Vampiro. At TCW's Death Sentence, there will be no disqualifications, no time limits, no mercy. As a clip of a bloody Nick Gage shows as he's saying that. Tonight, we are guided by the code of violence. You sign the code. What?
I said, whose butt plug keeps hitting the ground? What is that?
I think that's his dog playing with a ball.
Oh, so you don't secure that shit.
The
My
first
bad.
time his
You-
dog is ever
Life, you
active in the
sick
background is
individual.
the time that Damone's going to talk the entire time.
Just
Right? So tonight we are guided by the code of violence. You sign the code, you sign away your safety. Every strike is legal. We see a Shayna Baszler hitting Toni Storm over and over while the rest of the House of Cards is holding her as she's bleeding, busted open. Every weapon is legal. And then the TV shows Mortis smashing Onita with a barbed wire wrapped 2x4. Violence isn't suggested; it's required. This isn't just a show. This is a manifesto of violence a brutal covenant signed in blood. This is toxic championship wrestling, and this is our mantra, our doctrine, our gospel. As a sideshow of different wrestlers or wrestling blood, being bloody and fighting, and just starts flashing in rapid succession. The camera goes, then zooms in on Vampiro's face. This is our death sentence. And the chorus of the song starts to play loudly, and then it cuts to the arena as Matt Stryker welcomes the fans to TCW Death Sentence. I don't know if you guys want to judge that or not.
We
Don't
can.
judge that. There's nothing there. Let's keep
Okay.
going.
I just took it as an intro.
Yeah, I don't know what we've been doing. I can't remember. So whatever we've been doing this Booketverse.
For a while it was
Well,
whatever.
I think that
but
one
now
was
it's we're not
consequential
judging
and
intro.
good enough to rate. Honestly, like
That's what
some
I was gonna say.
people-
I was gonna give him
Yeah.
a really good
I
score.
would say it
Yeah,
really
go
was.
ahead and rate it.
I would say it sounds like it was an
Some
opening
intros are just like-
promo more
And
than it
I'll
was
say
an
a lot
intro.
of my intros just
I feel
the
like
pyro
usually
plays.
rolls this to the
Here's what's going
first
on going
one,
into
but-
it. Here's the first match. That was good. So
Yeah, you did like an actual like a opening promo. And I think that it really fit the vibe of what I think TCW should be in my brain. Like I think of TCW as like a grassroots, underground, like grimy, like it's a culture. It's a scene. It's not just a company. You know what I mean? Like I feel
Yeah.
like the TCW fans, they're toxic and they love it. You know what I mean? Like that's part of the appeal. It's not for everybody, and that's the good part. So I think you really like gave that like cult energy with this promo. So I'm gonna give you a 4.5. It's not
I'll take
quite
it.
like, and not enough happened for it to be a 5, but I'm gonna give you a 4.5. That was very good.
yeah,
Thank you.
I'm feeling a similar way. You sold the show well. I like the way that you like kept changing how like the wrestlers are appearing and like you increased the speed as it went on. Um, so I was picturing it very vividly in my head. Um, so I'm gonna give this a 4. I'm with Travis on like it not being enough to like give you the 5, but it was pretty damn good.
I'm gonna give you a 4 as well. I really like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, 4 is fine. 4 works.
All right, I'm at a 5. I'll give you a straight up 5.
Thank
I
you.
think this is as good as you can get for an intro for an ultra violent kind of company like this. So yeah,
Okay. So probably downhill from here.
Get yours in.
so yeah, it's cool. And then you start, having skin smelling and shit like that, like you did before.
there's no. I was gonna say there's no burning, but that's not true. But
See?
not the same.
Right,
Not the same
Simone.
kind of burning.
What did Mike rate it? I didn't hear him.
A 4.
Yeah, 4.
Okay.
Okay. So the show is going to kick off with Toni Storm versus a member of the House of Cards for the TCW Women's World Title. So at TCW Overkill, Diamante, Natalia, and Shayna Baszler helped Diana Perrazzo defeat Toni Storm to win the women's title. When they distracted the ref and Toni allowed Diana to hit a pump kick, then a Gotch-style pile driver for the win. The following episode of Sin, the women united and informed the House of Cards, explaining they are tired of being overlooked and stepped over, and that there is strength in numbers. Shayna is the queen of spades. She's ruthless and intense, but disciplined. Natalia is the queen of hearts, resilient, passionate, loyal, bred for greatness. Diana is the queen of clubs, smart, cunning, strategic. And Diamante is the diamond in the rough, who has unrecognized potential that has been held back for far too long due to no fault of her own. They announced that they will begin defending the women's title via house rules. Under house rules, all of the 4 of the women are the women's champion simultaneously, and therefore at any point, any of them can defend it, and whoever does defend it also gets to decide what match type they want to defend it under. So Toni Storm invokes her rematch clause at No Forgiveness, but this time she has to face Shayna in the submission match after Diamante and Diana distract the ref, so Natalia is able to slide the title to Shayna, who decks Toni 1 second. With it, and then throws it out of the ring, and then she locks in a rear naked choke. Shayna does until Toni passes out. So week 1, the House of Cards comes out to celebrate retaining the women's championship to our chorus of boos on that week's episode of Sin live in Columbus, Ohio. They come out to the ring, and Natalya grabs a mic and is about to talk, but the crowd keeps booing over her. Shayna tells Natty to give her the mic. Shut the hell up and show some damn respect before I come out there and I choke out each and every one of you, starting with that blonde bimbo over there. And she points to a blonde in the front row. Shayna gets out of the ring and gets in the fans' face as security holds or stands between them. Deanna says, come back in the ring, Shayna, who backs off and slides back in the ring. Don't waste your time arguing with street trash. Even though we all know you'd absolutely beat the hell out of each and every one of these idiots without breaking a sweat, these lazy, disgusting vermin would probably sue, because we know no one in this godforsaken town has ever worked an honest day in their lives.
She called her the V-word.
Natty says, plus, we know why they're so upset. They're upset that their little starlet got put to sleep last night by the Queen of Spades. As Shayna makes a choking gesture, like she does like that, like choking. Diamante says, maybe next time you fools will learn to listen to us when we tell you nobody is beating the House of Cards. We run this division, and it doesn't matter who you put in front of us. And in unison, they say, the house always wins. And then it fades to commercial. So the following week, David Arquette, who's the GM here, calls the House of Cards to his office. Ladies, have a seat. Can I get you some water, food, anything? As he looks terrified of Shayna and Diamante, who stand behind a now seated Natalya and Deanna, with Shayna cracking her knuckles and Diamante with the title on her shoulder. Natalya says, cut the crap. What did you call us in your office for, David? I just wanted to tell you in person that tonight we are going to have a gauntlet match. Or I'm sorry, I wanted to tell you in person that next week we're going to have a gauntlet match to determine who is going to challenge next for the TCW Women's Championship at Death Sentence. Diamante says, works for us. We look forward to see who is the next sheep for the slaughter. Because whoever he is, they're going to be signing their own death warrant by trying to take what we have earned. Later on in that night, Toni Storm bursts into Arquette's office. Davy boy, my dear, we mustn't keep meeting this way. You came into my office. Shush, my love, as she puts her finger on his lips. I know your feelings are strong for me, but we mustn't mix work with pleasure. At least not until I regain my women's championship, which was stolen from me. And I heard from the newsboy that there's a match next week to see who faces those dastardly wenches in House of Cards at Death Sentence. Who faces those dastardly wenches in House of Cards at Sentence of Death. Toni, you lost your rematch, so unfortunately, you have to go to the back of the line, so you're not in the gauntlet match. Oh. There's time for someone new to get a crack at House of Cards. New, you say, huh? I like the way you think, Davy boy. Nothing like a new role to rekindle the fire in one's loins. You're a genius, she says as she kisses him on the cheek and leaves. Wait, what? Toni, what does that mean? He gets up and looks in the hallway, but she's already gone. Damn it. So the next week, So the main event of Sin the next week is the women's gauntlet match. First out is Lady Frost and Raka Khan. Raka is able to eventually overpower Lady Frost and hit a Dominator to eliminate her. Out next is Roxy Laveau, who almost beats Raka, but Raka manages to kick out of the voodoo drop and hits a spear to eliminate Roxy. Out next is JC Jane, who has the upper hand at first, but is too cocky and gets hit with a spear after taunting and then hit with a Dominator. Out next is supposed to be Piper Niven, but when the music hits, no one comes out. We then cut to the back and see her laid out on top of a smashed car window. The ref counts to 10 and she is counted out. As Raka is watching medics take care of Piper, Shayna comes out from behind in the crowd and locks in a rear naked choke, causing Raka to pass out. The rest of the House of Cards comes out and waits for someone to come out. Out comes Sarah Del Rey, who runs down, slides in, and pins Raka as the house forces the referee to count the 1, 2, 3, and then they shake hands with Sarah as she was supposed to be the last entrant, and they're all heels, so they like each other. As ring announcer Chris Dangerous is about to announce Sarah as the winner, Vampiro stands up and says, hold on. Before we announce the winner of this match, I've been informed that there is one more entrant into this gauntlet. And he writes something down, hands a piece of paper to Chris. Chris reads it and says, making her TCW debut from the back alleys of Tijuana, introducing La Tempora Antonia Tormenta. Out comes a masked luchadora wearing a dark blue bodysuit, a silver cape, and gold mask. She stands with her arms to her side and then walks down to the ring and slides in as the ref forces the house out of the ring, and security makes them go to the back as they yell, as they're yelling no, accusing the masked wrestler of being Toni Storm, as the wrestler shakes her head no over and over. Sarah Del Rey and Antonia have a back and forth contest, with Antonia managing to counter Sarah's technical style with a high flying action, including a poison rana and a Mexican destroyer. Sarah gets the upper hand with an eye rake when the ref is distracted by a returning Diamante to ringside. She hits the spike pile driver, but the luchadora kicks out at one and hulks up, then counters a spinning back fist with a spike pile driver of her own for the pin and the win. The House of Cards comes back out and regroups, and they go after Antonia, but she manages to fight them off and sends them reeling back up the ramp. She then grabs a mic and says, I regret to inform you all that I am not who I claim to be. I am not from the back alleys of Tijuana, nor am I Antonia Tormenta. For I am timeless! As she pulls the mask off dramatically and reveals that it's actually timeless Toni Storm. Outside on the ramp, House of Cards is going crazy as security holds them back, and Toni celebrates by crowd surfing in the audience. On the Go Home show, the House of Cards storms into David Arquette's office. Natty says, what the hell was that last week? Toni wasn't supposed to be in the gauntlet match, and instead of getting to the back of the line, she pretends to be someone else and steals the title shot. That match should be Sarah Del Rey's. She earned it. Diamante says that blonde hair ditz tried to play us like fools last week, and you need to do something about it, as she grabs David by the collar. He says, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was Toni, and I didn't know she was going to pull that stunt, but she did technically win the match, so I can't really do anything. David, this is bullshit. And you know it. Deanna says, well, you didn't let me finish. While she did win the match, she also wasn't supposed to be in the match, so I already arranged it for tonight in the main event for it to be Sarah Del Rey versus Toni Storm, and the winner gets the title match at Death Sentence. I guess you're not as dumb as you look, Shayna says as they leave the office, and David fixes his shirt. In the main event, Sarah and Toni have an instant classic going back and forth with multiple near falls. Toni barely getting to the bottom rope when Sarah locks in the super tight guillotine choke. Sarah goes for the royal butterfly, but Toni manages to counter, hit a third Storm Zero of the match, and pins her 1, 2, 3. Immediately after, the House of Cards rushes the ring and they surround Toni. They swarm her, and she tries to fight them all, but she can't. There's too many people. And she gets hit, shot blocked by Shayna, and then locked into a sharpshooter by Natty. And at the same time, Deanna has a crossface in. And Diamante and Shayna, they fight off security who are trying to get in the ring. Security and the refs. Toni goes limp, and they let go of the hold. They hold Toni's arms and lift her up. And we see Shayna repeatedly hitting her with stiff punches, busting Toni open. And then they let go and start walking to the back, celebrating and mocking Toni in the crowd. The medical staff tries to attend to Toni, but she refuses their help and asks for a mic. You dumb bitches don't get it, do you? I am the bitch you can't forget. The whore you can't ignore. She spits up blood out from her mouth. In a death sentence, I promise you, it doesn't matter which one of you it is. I am going to win back my women's title, come hell or high water. I am going to huff, and I am going to puff, and I am going to blow your damn house down. As she throws down the mic, and then the camera cuts to the House of Cards on the top of the ramp, looking pissed and annoyed. As Toni is like, has blood pouring down her mouth. And then it cuts, the show ends for that week. So to the match itself. So Toni Storm is out first, wearing a custom dress that looks like an old school prison outfit with black and white stripes. The lights dim on the Titantron, and we see a deck of cards with the 4 members' faces on them, and then it starts to shuffle rapidly, and then it slows down, and it lands on the Queen of Hearts, so Natalya. Natalya makes her way to the ring, and the ref goes over to her and asks what match type she's picking. Natalya whispers it to her in her ear, or to him in his ear, and he shakes his head and walks over and tells Toni, then goes to the ring announcer, Chris Danger. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is for the TCW Women's World Championship and will be contested under Last Woman Standing. So to the spots. Toni comes out the gates firing, throwing heavy kicks, or heavy lefts and rights, that force Natalya back into the corner, covering up until she falls down in the corner, with Toni not letting up. Toni runs to the other corner and hits a hip attack in the corner. Toni Irish whips Natty, but Natty reverses and hits an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Natty hits a delayed brain buster, swivels her hips, and then hits another brain buster, then does it again and hits a third. She tells the referee to count. Toni makes it to her feet at the count of 7. Natty Irish whips Toni for a clothesline, but Toni ducks under, bounces off the ropes, and hits the Lou Thesz press, followed with punches. Natty rolls to the outside. Natty's on the outside. Toni hits a suicide dive, sending Natty back first into the guardrail. Toni then goes under the ring and grabs a kendo stick. Toni starts whacking Natty with the kendo stick as Natty is trying to get away, but Natty can't, and she drops to one knee. Toni winds it up like a baseball player, like a baseball bat, and then breaks it over the back of Natty, causing Natty to go prone. The ref starts to count, but Natty makes it to her feet at 8. Toni throws Natty into the ring, and goes under the ring, grabs a table and starts to slide it into the ring, but at the same time, Natty runs and hits a basement dropkick to the table, forcing it to go into Toni's chest and pushes her, sends her flying back. Natty goes to the bellkeeper's area, and grabs the ring bell. She then blasts Toni with it when she makes it back to her feet. Toni makes it to her feet at 9, but is bleeding profusely. She slides into the ring, but Natty hits her immediately with a leg drop. Natty Irish whips Toni into the corner so hard that Toni bounces off of it, and Natty hits the Natty by Nature, which is the discus clothesline. The ref starts to count, but Toni gets up at 6 and immediately gets hit with a big boot. Natty hits a slingshot release atomic drop. Then she tramples her in a drop kick. She then goes out of the ring and grabs the table as the ref counts. Starts counting on Toni, and then Natty slides back into the ring with the table and also slides in 2 chairs into the ring as well. Toni makes it to her feet at 8, then collapses into the corner from the blood loss, but she broke the count. Natty sets up the table in the opposite corner. She goes to Irish whip Toni into it, but Toni manages to muster enough strength to resist it. She slaps Toni's hand away, Natty's hand away, then runs, picks up Natty by the waist, and drives her through the table. Both women are down. The ref begins the count. Both women make it to their feet at the count of 8. Toni hits a series of Mongolian chops, then a cunt punt, then the Mayday onto one of the chairs as Natalya writhes in pain. That is actually the name of the move. It's the cunt punt.
I know.
Natty has to use the ropes to make the count. Toni sets up a chair in the corner and Irish whips Natty, but Natty counters, sending Toni going into the corner, but then she stops herself. Natty goes for a spear, but Toni sidesteps it, and Natty goes crashing into the chair. Natty has to roll out of the ring to break the ref's count. Natty is now busted open as well. Toni removes the mat and goes for the Storm Zero on the outside on the exposed floor, but Natty manages to counter and hit an Alabama slammer. Natty then locks in the sharpshooter as Toni screams out in pain. Natty lets go as Toni appears to go limp. Natty sits on the steps and tells the ref to count. Toni isn't moving when it gets to a count of 7. Then she suddenly gets the burst of energy, kips up, hulks up, and then runs and hits a flying cross body off the steps on Natty, then celebrates with the crowd. Toni then picks up Natty and hits a tornado DDT off the steps. They're both back in the ring. Toni picks up Natty and hits a backbreaker onto an open chair, then a running drop kick. Natty makes it to her feet, but then turns around into a Storm Zero. Natty has to use the ropes to make it to her feet, then collapses in the corner. Toni sees this and goes for a hip attack, but Natty dodges it, then hits a release German suplex, then a set-out powerbomb. Natty grabs Toni by the hair and rubs her face against the ropes, like across the ropes, and then tosses her away. Natty then waits for Toni to stand up and locks in a rear naked choke. Toni appears to be fading, but manages to hit a desperation jawbreaker to break the hold. Both women start to work their way back up to their feet and start punching back and forth, and then start headbutting each other over and over, like back and forth over and over for like a good 30 seconds. Toni gets the advantage, sending Natty backward, then hits a rebound clothesline. Or Natty goes falling backwards, but then hits a rebound clothesline. Both women are down when the rest of the House of Black make their way to the ring as the crowd boos. The ref is yelling at them to go away. Toni is up. She grabs a chair that's in the ring, and she knocks Diamante off the apron, then Diana and Shayna. But then when she turns around, she gets blasted with the title by Natty. Natty tells the referee to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Natty is yelling, count faster, as Toni is trying to pull herself up. 7, 8, 9. Toni just gets up by using the rope, so she manages to barely break the count. Natty tries to hit her with the belt again, but Toni ducks, then gut kicks her, and hits the Storm Zero onto the title that Natty had dropped, and they both collapse to the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other members of the house are yelling for Natty to get up, and Toni is crawling towards the ropes. 7, 8. Toni grabs for the ropes and tries to get her to be able to get herself up, but she can't quite make it. Like she's a fingertip away, and she collapses. 9, 10. The ref calls for the bell. Neither woman makes it to the count of 10. Chris Danger announces, as both women were unable to answer the count of 10, the referee has declared this match a draw. And as a result, Still, your women's champions, the House of Cards. The rest of the House of Cards get in the ring and they check on Natty as medics come out and they check on both of them. The medics get Natty on the stretcher and they wheel her out, and the House of Black follow along, or not Black, the House of Cards follow along. They start to do the same thing to Toni, but she like pushes them off and refuses to leave on a stretcher and rolls out of the ring and starts to walk up the ramp, but like starts to collapse, and she ends up having to use like two referees help her hold her on her side as she walks out of the arena but on her 2 feet. And that's the end of that one.
I'll start.
Go for it.
Okay. I really like this actually. I like the House of Cards. I like the gimmick you have behind them. You know, the house, like you said, the best person clubs. All I thought that was cool how you did that. Personally, I think Toni Storm, in my opinion, I feel like she could have been a little bit more like ridiculous. I was hoping for just a smidge more ridiculous with her, but I'm not going to really count that towards you. But all in all, I think it was really good.
It's kind of why I traded her, because it's hard to do a Toni promo.
Yeah. So it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad either. I thought it was really good. I'm gonna go with I'm fighting between two scores. I'm gonna go with the better one. I'm gonna go with the 3.75.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay, I'm gonna be a bit more of a hater than Kenny, but not like that bad. So I think your Toni was actually really good. That's where I disagree with Kenny. I thought the whole disguise thing was great. I like her promos. Like I feel like you really captured that essence well. And I also agree with Kenny in liking the House of Cards gimmick overall. Your big weakness was that you captured the essence of a Natty Neidhart promo, and that is not a compliment. Like her promos, like you did not pull the Travis D. Malenko where you make a bad promo really good. You had somebody who's kind of a corny promo in real life, kind of stay a corny promo. So I would have liked a little bit more out of the Natty promos. Otherwise, I thought it was pretty good. The match was really cool. I liked the no finish ending. I think sometimes you just have draws, and that's how it goes. And with that, I'm gonna go only a quarter lower than Kenny at a 3.5.
Okay.
I disagree with everything that John said except for the score. I'm also going to give you a 3.5, but for the opposite reasons. I don't think that like I just don't think. Shit, I lost my train of thought. What was the last thing you said, John?
Sometimes you just have a draw.
Yeah, I did not like that. I liked everything else about this up until that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I like this. I was ready to give it a 5. I hated that ending. I thought that ending was shit. I'm going with a 3.5 as well.
Was it a bottom 2 ending?
Bottom
And
one.
this is like the wildest
No, Kenny
different-
sold an entire company away.
Bottom one this week. That's all I got.
Gotta continue the story. You'll see what happens next.
Joe or Travis, what's your score? Oh, Travis already gave me a
What's
score.
my score?
Joe, what's your score?
So I also did not like the ending of that, but I know the gauntlet match was kind of just leading up to it, but it felt like one of my matches that I'd write.
Well, yeah, it was a build. I was just
a little part.
yeah,
it was like
well-
Spear eliminated, RKO.
yeah,
eliminated.
it was
The
part of the
mid-build
bill.
match
I'm not
is
gonna
gonna
go
be
like-
through an entire match
Yeah.
that's in the
Hey.
bill.
Joe, you're gonna like a Travis pay-per-view. I'm telling you
Oh,
right
no.
now. You're gonna like this.
He's going in depth like that in the build. That's great.
Yeah, my full match is one of his build matches.
Well, that's why I
Travis
was
knows
like,
how to
I don't know. I
play
got
the
excited when there was
crowd.
going to be a gauntlet match. I was like, "Ooh, this is going to cook," and then it was just
Yeah, it's just on the
Move
weekly.
out, move out, move out, move
Yeah.
out.
I mean, to be fair, like I said, we don't want to hear all that.
Yeah.
We just want to get to the point. What's the
I-
good?
I
We
wanna
wanna
hear that.
we want to hear the match. We don't want to hear the build match because
I want to hear all of it.
that's too much,
We don't
Travis.
So I guess Travis will be my number one person.
Travis, you hear that? We don't need it.
Hey, Travis, we need it.
Every
Uh,
match
You
in the
can
build
give
isn't
it to
built
Joe
out, but I
off
do have
air.
some.
Give it to me off air. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
You can like private message him.
You chill out, okay?
But I'm not gonna take it away from you for that. I don't know. It kind of disappointed me with that, but I'll give it a 3.25.
Okay,
Disappointed?
that's better than I thought I was gonna get for that one. I knew the no finish would be controversial because the match that inspired it technically got booed at the end. It was Triple H versus HBK Last Man Standing, has a similar finish. Shawn Michaels hits the super kick.
That deserves
And
I
then-
remember
Yeah.
Wait, so
the
this
double
is ju-
pinfall.
this is your only week with Tony, though, right?
No, I have her one more show.
One more.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
unless
this
you
was
wanna
my
give it to
only
Barely.
week, if this was gonna be my only week, I would have had her just lose.
Well, that's why I was confused too, because I thought you only had her this week, but
No, I averaged for
that
two.
doesn't affect my score anyway. So
That's fine. So it's gonna be the Death Tournament semifinal match between Homicide and Nick Gage. So after winning the Death title at the end of season 1 of TCW, Edge defended the title against the likes of John Moxley, Charles Mason, and Joey Janela. But after Death Becomes Us, Edge was forced to retire due to the injuries sustained in the matches, leaving the title vacant. So it was vacant for quite a while, for like about a year. At no forgiveness, David Arquette announced the return of the Death Division and announced that there would be a tournament that started on that week's episode of Sin. The participants he announced are the original Iron Sheik, or the original Sheik, Homicide, the Trash Man, PCO, Mortis, Nick Gage, Joe Gacy, and a surprise entrant. So Homicide, and Joe, you're gonna hate this because these are gonna be the quick matches again, because they're just on the weekly.
hey, this is a thick ass match.
So Homicide defeats PCO with the Gringo Killer onto a door wrapped in barbed wire in a back and forth contest after PCO misses a moonsault. The next week, Nick Gage defeats the original Sheik with the Hardcore Drop, which is a scoop brainbuster through a glass table. Week 3, Mortis with Father James Mitchell makes quick work of the Trash Man with an avalanche Samoan drop onto Tax to advance to the semis. In the final week, Joe Gacy comes out to face his opponent, who is a mystery opponent. So he comes out, he's waiting, the lights dim, and on the Toxictron we see Death Match Princess appears, and Maki Itoh comes out. Maki, who recently left EVO, is making her debut in TCW as the surprise entrant. Her and Gacy have a back and forth match, with both eventually getting busted open. Gacy hits the upside down, which is like the can't talk. The like springboard clothesline thing he does. Through a table, but Maki manages to kick out. Gacy goes for a chair to use and tries to hit her with, but Maki counters with a baseball bat to the knee, and then locks into the Itoh Punisher, or the Itoh Punish, which is a lion tamer, and it forces Gacy to tap. So the semifinals are set with Homicide versus Nick Gage and Mortis versus Maki Itoh. So before the match, we see Nick Gage making his way through the arena to the entrance when he sees his former protege, Maki Itoh, in the hallway stretching, and he stops. He notices her, or she notices him, and she stops what she's doing. Nick puts his fist out and he smirks. Maki looks at it and then up at Nick, smiles, and then fist bumps Nick. Nick nods his head and then makes his way to the entrance, wearing a black t-shirt, blue jean shorts, and a red bandana. Homicide is out next, wearing all black, including a black bandana. He makes it part of the way down the ramp, and then he says, "Hold on a second, 1 sec." Puts the 1 sec up, and he goes back into the entranceway. About 10 seconds go by as his music's playing, and he comes out with a shopping cart full of weapons. Before getting into the ring, Homicide just starts chucking weapons into the ring. So the bell rings, and Homicide grabs 2 hockey sticks and throws one to Nick. They sword fight with them, with Nick managing to start to overpower Homicide into a pin with the stick across his neck. Homicide barely manages to power out and kick out. Nick swings with the stick, but Homicide then ducks and pokes him and hits a backstabber for a 2 count. Homicide starts kicking Nick in the gut, then hits a Shining Wizard. Homicide grabs a light tube and breaks it across Nick's back. Homicide tries to do a belly-to-belly suplex off a rebound, but Nick manages to fight his way out with hard elbow shots and then hits a fall-away slam onto a garbage can. Nick goes to the shopping cart and pulls out a staple gun. Travis, Kenny, this is where your weak stomachs are gonna probably kick in. He then stands over Homicide, and then he staples Homicide's bandana to his forehead. Nick takes a steel chair and opens it up, and then throws Homicide into the ropes chest first and hits a German suplex to the chair. Homicide kicks out of a pin attempt at 2. Homicide hits a swinging neck breaker, exposes his knee, and then hits an Enzu knee drop. When Nick is getting up, Nick kicks out at 2. Homicide hits an avalanche DDT and goes for a cover. 1, 2, Nick kicks out. Homicide goes for the frog splash, but Nick gets the knees up. When Homicide gets up and gets Irish whipped, he then gets hit with a big boot. Nick makes his way to the top rope and hits a senton bomb. 1, 2, Homicide kicks out. Nick goes for the choke breaker, but Homicide escapes, kicks him in the nut, and then hits a running clothesline. Homicide takes a stop sign and starts bashing Nick in the head with it over and over until Nick drops. He then goes for the pin, but Nick kicks out at 2. Homicide gets a screwdriver and drives it into Nick's head over and over and over, busting him open. Homicide then goes for a springboard Frankensteiner, but Nick manages to counter it into a running powerbomb for a long 2. Nick rolls to the outside and pulls out a table and sets it up. He then grabs something from the cart and holds it up. It is a bottle of lighter fluid. Nick pours it onto the table and grabs a lighter from his shorts, and he lights the table on fire. Nick brings Homicide to the apron and goes for the hardcore drop, which is a brainbuster, through the flaming table, but Homicide manages to grab the rope and avoid it and break away. Homicide then hits a gringo cutter off the apron and through the flaming table as the crew douses them both with fire extinguisher as the crowd chants TC Dub, TC Dub, TC Dub. Homicide then gets into the ring, and when Nick manages to get back up, Homicide goes for a tope con hilo, but Nick manages to grab a cookie sheet off the floor and smash him in the head. Nick gets Homicide back into the ring and hits the choke breaker. 1, 2, Homicide kicks out. Nick then takes him to the corner and sits him up top. Homicide starts to try and fight back, but Nick bites the top of his head, hooks his head, and hits an avalanche hardcore drop. 1, 2, 3. Nick Gage wins the match and advances to the finals of the Def Championship tournament. Finn for that, man.
I'll start. Honestly, this is kind of perfect mid to me. I felt like the build was just like, yep, this is death. And then We get to that, and it's like, yep, this is death, and it's not a bad thing because like it's death, but it's just death. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
There was nothing else I felt like I could connect with other than the fact that they're beating the shit out of each other. So I just wish I could have gotten a little bit more on the story front. I know it's like a competition type setting, but
It's fine.
yeah.
No, I get what you
A
mean,
little
though.
more. And I thought the wrong guy won. I would have rather have seen Homicide win.
So that doesn't
So-
work for the story I'm going to be doing, so.
Well,
Except
poo-poo.
fuck you.
Uh,
Fuck your story.
I think the story
Hey.
worked better if Homicide won. So
Timon just
It doesn't.
Man.
I'll trust him. But you're just getting a 3.
You shouldn't, but.
I'll go next.
Okay.
So with me, I did not like the story, but I think the match saved it. You know, even though it's not my kind of match, I get it. Like I get why people like that kind of stuff, but that's not for me. It's an acquired taste, but I have not acquired that taste, so I would say that. But I'm at a perfect mid as well. I think the story was lacking, but the match, in a way, saved it. Question mark. But yeah, so I'm just at a solid 3.
Okay, I'll take it.
I have a quick question. What
Yes.
the very end there? What was the ending? The very last thing you said.
He puts him on the top rope pretty much, lifts him up, and hits a avalanche hardcore drop, which is a brain buster.
What was after that you said though?
He advanced to the finals of the Death Championship tournament.
Okay.
So there's more of
I don't know what I
Yeah.
don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
No, that's why I don't know. I thought that there was gonna be like another match after this for the pay-per-view. That's why I was kind of confused.
Oh, it's not that there is a match right after this. The tournament keeps going. So this is one semifinal. There's the next semifinal match is right after. Then there's gonna be a match in between that's not related to the Death tournament, and then the final of the Death tournament will be all
Okay.
tonight. Yes.
Okay. I see. That makes more sense. I'm gonna go with a 4 though. I really liked it.
Okay, take it.
Okay.
I was just the very ending just threw me off though because I thought for some reason it was like that was the end of it and then next week you were gonna
No.
move on with it, so that's why I was kind of confused. Okay. Proceed.
So, you know how at the beginning of the show I said that I really liked your promo because it's like TCW is not for everybody and that's how it's supposed to be.
You're the everybody.
Yeah, I'm everybody. This wasn't for me. I did not like this at all. I'm sorry.
I knew when I'm writing the death matches, I just assume you and Kenny are not gonna like it. I'm okay with it.
I tried so hard to like it. It just wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate
Not for
it.
me.
I gotta
I'm
give
gonna
you what I gotta give you.
I'm gonna give you because it did what it was supposed to do, and I'm gonna give you basis off of that. And I'm gonna you're not gonna get like a 0.5. Like don't think you're getting
Right.
that. Like because it did its job. I personally wish it didn't exist. Like,
Death
that's-
matches. Death matches in general.
Yeah, like I was.
I agree.
I like it. So I'm gonna give you a 1.75.
Wow.
My
And that's
lord.
very.
I'm-
Hey, I
and for-
did not like this.
For Travis on a death match, I'll take it.
I also
By the
don't
way,
care for
Joe, what
death
did you say
matches
again?
that much.
Mine
He said
was
a 4.
And Mike?
I
He's
don't
doing his
really
no.
care for death matches that much, but yeah, it did what it was supposed to do. I thought the story, the build, all that was horse shit.
Yeah, I agree. The story wasn't really there.
It's pretty much just, hey, we're bringing back the death title.
Right.
Here's a tournament.
I get that, but you should
This is
know
horse
by now what that's gonna do.
Horseshit.
I'm giving you a 2.25.
Okay, I'll take it. Well, you're getting another death match here in a second. So
That's crazy. You did all that just to get the
Wow.
same rating as
Pretty
me
hard.
with my big boys.
I know going in because I've done TCW and I did death matches and they weren't fans. So, but I say, you know what I say? Fuck him.
Hey,
There
I'm
you
here
That's why
for it.
can't
There
win
you
the
go.
I
title
don't even
yet.
like death matches himself as the
I
crazy
don't.
part.
Is the crazy thing. I like to write them. I don't like to watch them.
I don't go deathmatch. Hardcore is probably his.
Hey, I
far.
love
I
it.
tried to
my-
make
Same.
them.
Same. I like hardcore matches, not death
I'm
matches.
not
That's
doing
disgusting.
staples.
I try to like find a perfect, like not too far where it's like all the way death match, but not just a hardcore match. So trying to find that like
I think
Like-
for me, like in real life, I'm watching it. Thumbtacks is as far as I can
I
get.
agree.
Thumbtacks
Barbed
and
wire.
then like
I can do barbed wire.
Barbed
it
wire,
depends.
yeah.
It depends because like if you set a table on fire, it's like, oh, this is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, I
But
can
if
do
you're
the
like,
table
I'm
on
gonna hit you in the back with a light tube, like, all right, now.
Death
we-
matches
I
are
don't do
important
light
to
tubes.
professional
Staples
wrestling.
is my far like I think staple spots are cool because like the noise, you know what I mean? Like particularly like when like Swerve does them because he's always like
You're
running.
a
and,
sadist.
I will say for the staple guns don't bother me because it feels gimmicked. I know that sounds crazy. It just feels gimmicked, so I don't feel
Oh,
like
you
it's
know what?
real.
They could. I know they don't do this because they do close-ups on the staples,
Yeah.
but they could just not put staples in there.
yeah,
Yeah,
just make
yeah,
the
yeah.
noise.
And some of
Yeah.
them, I'm sure they could, but
Yeah, no, I thought that was fake
No, we
until
wanna
they
see
started
the
doing the
staples.
close-ups
You
on it.
not
I
for
was
the
like, oh
sickos.
man.
you do little
Not for the
stickers that
sickos.
look like
It'd be a sticker,
staples.
like
Yeah.
he's a little sticker.
It's a- it's a-
no. Yeah. I feel like a staple. Like yeah, it's gonna hurt, but it doesn't go that deep.
I know, but like I think that's as
I
far
don't
as
know,
I'll
man, that's a
go.
bunch of little
Anything
punctures.
light
Yeah.
tubes, syringes, that whatever that spike thing they put on AEW every
Oh,
now and
just
then.
The bed of nails.
Yeah,
I'm
nah.
surprised there's not more staph infections.
Yeah, I'm good on all that. That's disgusting.
I'm here for all that. That fork in Darby Allin's ear, I was
Yeah,
here for that.
no.
Ugh.
Yeah. When that happened,
Shut up.
I was queasy.
Hey, y'all remember
Joe-
when Randy
Joe's
Orton
one of the
was playing
sickos.
hanky panky
Let's-
with Jeff Hardy?
Let's get this last match going.
Hey,
Okay,
I'm
so-
just saying when people say that wrestling's fake and you show them that shit, can't say no.
That's a good point. So after the match, as he's walking up the ramp, Nick gets stopped by the interviewer. This is gonna bleed into the next match. So, is stopped by by interviewer Mean Gene Okerlund. Nick, you just had a hard fought battle to advance to the finals of the deathmatch tournament to win the TCW Death Championship. What are your thoughts? Yeah, Gene, I just want to say Homicide is one sick son of a bitch, one badass, but I'm even badder. Gene says in the next match, it's your protege Maki Itoh going against one of the most dangerous men in this company, Mortis. Yeah, Maki, I'm rooting for you to win. I love you like a little sister, and I would love for the finals to come down to me and you. But no matter what, whether it's Maki or Mortis, I want you to know that you're going to have to kill me to keep me from winning this tournament and walking out of this building as the new TCW Death Champion.
Talk your shit. Talk
Thank
your
you.
shit.
Thank you for your time, Nick. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Gage. Nick shakes Gene's hand and then walks up the ramp. It then cuts to the Toxictron, and we see Mortis with Father Mitchell in the back. Oh, isn't that so cute? Nick and Maki Itoh love each other. They're brothers and sisters. My monster, Mortis, is more than happy to break up this cute little family reunion when he destroys the so-called Death Match Princess. Then he's going to put an end to Mr. Gage and walk out as your new Death Champion. And there's nothing anyone can do to stop the massacre that is about to unfold. It then cuts back to the arena. So Maki comes out first wearing black and red with half her hair black and other half red. If you've seen Maki, you know what that looks like. Out next is Mortis wearing black and purple gear. Mitchell is wearing an all black suit with a purple tie that matches Mortis. So for the spots, Maki comes out firing with punches and kicks, but they aren't affecting Mortis. Mortis palms her by the head and then shoves her to the ground. Maki runs off the ropes and drop kicks Mortis, and then but it barely moves him. She then gets up and does it again, and again it barely moves him. She goes for it the third time, but this time Mortis hits her with a big boot. Mortis picks up Maki by the hair, then Irish whips her into the corner, followed by a stinger splash. Maki falls down in the corner. Mortis hits a dive or hits a drive-by kick and goes for the pin. 1-2. Maki kicks out. Mortis waits for Maki to get up, hits the rope, and hits a jumping back elbow and goes for the pin. Maki kicks out at 1. Mortis goes for a deadlift release German suplex, but Maki manages to land on her feet. And when Mortis turns around, he gets kicked in the head with a super kick before he can get to his feet, and he starts to wobble a little bit. She then hits a Shining Wizard and then goes for the pin. But Mortis pretty much throws her off almost pretty much immediately before the ref can even count the 1. Maki goes to the outside and grabs a chair, but when she gets in the ring, Mortis super kicks a chair into her face. He then goes for the pin. 1-2. Maki kicks out at 2. Mortis does a fireman's carry press, throwing Maki to the outside. Mortis goes under the ring and grabs a barbed wire wrap 2x4 and hits Maki in the back with it as she screams out in pain. Mortis rubs the barbed wire 2x4 against Maki's forehead, cutting her open. James Mitchell laughs maniacally in her face. Mortis drags her by the hair up the steps and then... Yes.
What's that sound like?
Mortis drags her by the hair up the steps, then picks her up and throws her into the ring. As he steps over the ring, Maki manages to kick the ropes, hanging up Mortis. So she kicks the ropes and they go into his crotch. She then hits a dragon screw to his knee, or to his leg, hurting his knee. Maki starts stomping furiously on the knee of Mortis and then hits a falling headbutt to it. If you've ever seen it, it's pretty much he just goes limp and then just falls down onto his knee. She then tries to lock in a Boston Crab, but Mortis is able to overpower her and kick her off. When she runs back at him, he hits her with a choke bomb. 1-2. Maki barely kicks out. Mortis is now noticeably limping. He picks her up, but she kicks his legs and escapes. She then hits a tornado DDT. 1-2. Mortis kicks out. Maki grabs a chair and wraps it around Mortis's leg, and then does a double stomp as Mortis screams out in pain. James Mitchell is nervous now, and he gets on the apron and starts yelling at her, which distracts Maki. She turns to him. She makes her hand into a fist, and then winds it up as the crowd goes, "Whoa, fuck you!" As she points his finger, and the crowd loses their mind. She does that, but then when she turns around, she gets hit with a buckshot lariat from Mortis. It takes him an extra second though to cover because of the knee. 1-2. Maki manages to kick out. Mitchell goes under the ring and grabs a bag and hands it to Mortis. Mortis dumps it near the corner, and it's a bag of tacks. Mortis signals that he's going to end it. He grabs Maki and he puts her on the top rope and goes for an avalanche flatliner, but Maki manages to fight him off, breaking the eyes, and then she pushes him back and he lands back first into the tacks. Maki hits the flying big head, which is a diving headbutt, and goes for the pin. 1-2. Mortis kicks out. Maki then waits for him to get up and smashes his knee with a steel pipe, sending him back down to his knee. She then hits the Shining Wizard and goes for a pin, but he kicks out. She then takes a chair and places it near him. She then goes to the middle turnbuckle and waits for him to get up. She tries to. Mitchell gets on the apron to try and stop her, but she kicks him off the apron and knocks him down. And then as the Mortis is getting up, she hits a diving DDT into the tacks. 1, 2, 3. Your winner and advancing to face Nick Gage in the finals of the Death Tournament, the Deathmatch Princess Maki Itoh. Showing on the Toxic Tron is Nick Gage. He's watching and applauding. So in the finals, it will be teacher versus student, master versus apprentice. And that's the end of this week's show.
My
Or
rating
this
is
half.
oh fuck you. No, this was decent. I like this better than the last one.
I was gonna say, is it me or is this like not as bad?
I think he has better like in ring workers for this.
Okay.
And two, yeah, it wasn't as gross, but I'm not
Okay.
as grossed out as by deathmatch shit as you are. I think Mortis and Maki Itoh put on a really good match with a lot of good spots that I would have been entertained by. I don't think anything would have bothered me out of it either. I still think the story lacks as your other one did because it's kind of a continuation. But the match was a lot better, and that if I was watching this pay per view, that would have me with a lot better taste in my mouth about it. Um, I'm gonna give you 3.5 for this one because it's still not like quite in the very good range yet with like practically no story
Okay,
and
I'll take
like
it.
I'm not invested, but the match was pretty damn good.
Okay, I think with this,
Okay, I'll take it.
I do agree with that because I think what the difference between this one and the last one, yes, it was lacking in story, but these people actually had more of a character to them. They actually had more personality, so that's why we're kind of like more like all in. I would say like we're more into it than the last one, and I feel like it wasn't as nasty. It was still nasty, but it wasn't as nasty as the last one. It was too, so it was better. So and I cared more about this match than I did the last one. I think the actual match was just wild and ridiculous for the last one, where this one was just an actually good wrestling match. It just happened to be a death match too. But I'm gonna go with a. I give the last one a 3. I'll give this one a 4, straight up 4.
I'll take it.
All right. I got some jokes to get off first before I get into my
Okay.
grade. Hey, why does everybody in your company go limp? Like that was your
They
go-to this whole time. Everybody's going limp.
they be going limp.
It's Damone. He just murders them.
Hey, there's
Like-
murder again is a strong word.
Now organic loving.
We were
You
cleared of
never have
all
to be limp.
charges.
But Damone really just booked Mortal Kombat and thought we wouldn't notice. Like,
It was Reptile versus Melina.
he said they each get an opening 2-line promo and then it's time to fight. Like,
They
I will
were
say,
standing like this.
That's my gimmick.
Sorry for the
Finisher.
gimmick infringement.
shit.
This is finished.
I am giving you a 25-cent stipend for the accents here. They cracked me up. Very entertaining. And I'm going to
Thank
give you a 25-cent stipend for that laugh because I popped for that. And I'm going to give you a straight 3.
All right, I'll take it. It's a death match. A 3 for a death match from Travis is a 5.5.
Exactly. That was as good as he was going to get.
I thought the story still kind of was lacking, though. I mean, overall,
The story's going to be the story.
Shut the
It's a
fuck up.
tournament.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Exactly. I'm gonna rate you on the story that you give me. Shut the fuck up.
Tell him, Mike.
God damn. Yeah. So the story was better than the last one, but it was what it was, man. Match was better than the last one. You do have better workers. Wasn't as gory. 3 1/4.
I'll take it.
3 and a quota.
Yeah, you set my expectations too high with the last match. Honestly,
The
so-
crazy thing is they're all like, it's too bloody. And now you're like, it's not bloody enough.
I'm just saying.
You'll never please us all.
So this one, I'm gonna go with a 3 on it.
I'll take it. Hey, I didn't get any 0.5s or zeros so far. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always next week. You guys got to get the final. Aren't you excited for one more death match?
Yeah.
Better be
Damone's
bloody.
currently a mid merchant right now, sitting at about 3 1/4.
All right. Let's.
Excuse
I'll
me,
take
he's
it.
about 350. 350. But does that conclude your show for the week, Demo?
That concludes this half. Yeah.
All right, let's get to wrapping up. Thank y'all to all the listeners for listening to another episode of Book It. That was what's the name of the show again?
Death Sentence.
TCW Death Sentence, and it sure did have a lot of death on it, for better or for worse.
Lots of
High five,
sentences
Mike.
too.
Can we
No,
find
leave
you
me-
anywhere
leave-
yet?
Leave me the fuck alone. Don't find me.
Damn, I hate this guy. All right, D Money, what about you?
I will sell his information for 1 cent. You can find me at DumbMoney213. That's DAMONEY T13.
And Bad Guy, tell him about your 37 shows.
All right, you can catch me on all social medias at Bad Guy Spoken. Catch the Bad Guy Spoken podcast on YouTube's, and you can also catch Unbiased to see TK throw little you like this. And you can also catch Hood Movie review all your favorite and not so favorite Hood movies. And you can also catch Geek in the motherfucking sheets. We talk about things anime, Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek. What else we
Never
got here?
Star Trek.
RoboCop.
No. We're not doing that.
Cowboy
That's-
Bebop.
That's your new best vegetable. You got to do it right.
There's no Star Trek that's ever been on there.
We talk all things Digimon.
Hey, we will talk Digimon, but we will not talk Star Trek.
Death Note.
all that.
Star Trek is fire. Shut the fuck up.
So check it out.
Hell yeah. All right, Travi T, what about you?
I am Travi T on all social media. That's at IAMTRAVVYT
Get Travis
on
the T.
TikTok.
Travis the V.
On TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTubes and the Twitches, and probably somewhere else. You can probably find. Just search that username where there's usernames, and I'm probably there.
Hell yeah.
The hub is the first link that pulls up.
That'd be wild.
Hey, subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Yep.
I'm trying
It's
to
only
see some shrimp.
$42 a
I'll
month.
show you, this is a preview.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy.
What? I do puppet shows.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
like
just
that.
showing
I don't like that.
You nasty
You're the puppet.
bitches.
If he's the hand puppet, that's crazy. Somebody got their hand up. I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was not expecting an actual puppet to show
I
up
mean-
for a second.
Why
How
Mike
do you-
always got some bullshit going on?
Why?
Mike always.
It's
wait,
always
wait.
within arm's reach.
I
dude.
was about to say, why was it so close?
It's
But-
always
We
within
did this,
arm's
like
reach.
a few weeks ago. I
Are you a
brought it on.
magician? Are you,
No, but I am gonna get this in a ventriloquist dummy because I think it'd be way fucking cool.
That's.
Okay.
I don't even know what to say to that. That's.
Yeah, I don't know. TC Dub. TC Dub. TC Dub.
Okay, but somebody's got to draft that puppet next Book It Verse.
Yep.
First pick, so Mike doesn't.
Yeah. All right, and
El Satin.
Do you smell what Satan is cooking?
Yeah.
Like,
Well-
that's hilarious.
anyway, Joe, what about you?
Yeah, if you go to the graveyard section at t13media.com, you can find Not a Real Court.
R.I.P.
10 bill salute.
Where they should have
Killed my
made
child.
Star Wars versus Star Trek, apparently.
We definitely did at some point.
Yeah, we definitely. No, we absolutely did because I remember we had the guest on for that had like 17,000 Star Trek vehicles behind him.
Kinda
All the
sick.
Legos and shit.
You can also see us talk about Legos too on Not a Record. No, not a record. I'm sorry. Geek in the Sheets.
No, you can't.
Joe did not a real court and started talking shit about guests on air. That's crazy.
I didn't talk shit about him. I said that he had a shitload of. I mean, it's unfortunate he likes Star Trek, but
It was the tone. It was the
Yeah, you
implication.
just said-
It was the implication.
Right.
he likes bad movies. I don't know.
John, wrap this shit up.
I'm trying.
Nah, Mike about to cut a promo.
No,
I saw it.
L.
I saw
Satan.
him. I
L.
saw him.
Satan's is about to.
John's frozen.
All right,
Nope, he froze.
That,
Well,
was, that was Book It. See ya.
Bye.